to Legal Dilemmas, where you will find clear, concise legal advice. My name is Brenda.
And my name's Safina.
Safina, today I have a question for you, and it's arisen due to one of my clients. There is some confusion because they've been involved in a domestic violence incident and they tell me they have been RUI'd by the police. So can you explain that, please?
Certainly. So RUI stands for Released Under Investigation. So essentially what that means is the police are still building up the case or the investigation against the person. They haven't made a decision whether to proceed to charge. They're still making inquiries. There may be outstanding evidence at place, whether it's medical or whether it's witness testimony, or maybe the injured party has already indicated to the police that they don't want to proceed with the allegation, although they may have called out the police initially and they're trying to make further contact with the injured party. So it's essentially you are under investigation, but you are not subject to any conditions by the police.
Okay, so is it positive?
Well, it depends who you are. And from what perspective you look at this. So the positives for the police essentially are, well, it gives them, an endless amount of time to undertake an investigation to determine someone's guilt. They're not subject to a specific date where someone's answering their bail and they have to be ready with an update. So from that perspective, it's positive for the police because they're not subject to any custody time limits. They've essentially left the person under investigation and they can take as long as they want. And that does help the police somewhat, Brenda, because they have got resourcing issues. There is a backlog of cases and there are less people going into the police force. So that does help them in that regard.
Okay. So when they're released under investigation, are there any conditions?
There aren't any conditions, but I think it's important also to put into context the first bit of your question. So in terms of perspective, if you are the individual who is under RUI, like your client, Brenda, the negative to that is that you are being restricted in being able to progress your life and move forward. You don't know what's happening. It's uncertain whether you will be later charged. I just had a case recently where somebody was on RUI for 18 months and the police have now made a decision to not charge the person, but that 18 months, that person has been suffering a lot of anxiety and uncertainty about whether they will be criminalized, and that will obviously impact their employment prospects. So it's not helpful at all for that person. So I think I've answered your question, have I, Brenda?
You have, yes. So in summary, RUI means released under investigation, and that is essentially the police have released you without charge whilst they're investigating the matter further. Hopefully that answers the question. Please like, subscribe and share and have your notifications on to more topics from Legal Dilemmas.